My name is Truvis, and if you know me, you know I'm a bit of a masochist when it comes to old school RuneScape. Old school RuneScape has always felt like an escape, a place with complete freedom. You can play the game as intended, or you can make your own rules and create your own fun. I started like everyone else, a normal account, trading, before the Grand Exchange even existed, and touching every piece of content I could. But eventually, it just got too easy. So I decided to make a hardcore Iron Man. One life, no safety net. I pushed that account all the way to 1700 total level before finally dying to Galvek in Dragon Slayer 2. So then I decided to run it back. Made another hardcore, hit 1800 total this time, unfortunately dying to Monkey Madness 2 this time. Twice I lost everything on Grandmaster quests. At that point I felt I'd almost conquered hardcore Iron Man, so I tried Ultimate Iron Man. No bank, a new way of thinking, theory crafted, problem solved, and I made it all the way to 1500 total level. But once I learned the tricks of death mechanics and inventory management, even that challenge dried out. Then it hit me. What if I combined the two? What if I made the impossible? A ultimate hardcore Iron Man. No banks, no deaths, ever. But to make it even more interesting, because I know that watching just normal progress videos can get kind of stale, I figured why not add a little bit more of a twist. So in this series, a wheel is going to decide my weapon class for each of the three styles: melee, ranged, and magic. How this is going to work is a wheel is going to lock me into a weapon class. For example, if I spin the melee and it gives me scimitars, for example. But the goal for this account will be to obtain every single of that weapon class, all the way from bronze, all the way up to the Blade of Seldor. Anything the wiki classifies as a scimitar, I would have to get. So let's go ahead and spin the wheels and begin the account. And okay, here we are at the first wheel. This is the melee wheel. So some of these are a little more difficult than others. I'm hoping for a nice little common medium ground. I wouldn't mind scimitars, we talked about it earlier. The high-end scimitar would be the Blade of Seldor. But some of them are pretty tricky, some of them are a lot easier. So let's go ahead and give this one a spin and see what we get for the melee. Looks like we're just sticking to normal swords. So we're going to go more into depth with this after I spin the other two wheels. We'll talk about the three weapon classes that we were given. So we've got normal swords, which is a nice one. There's some difficult ones with swords, but like I said, we'll talk about it shortly. We're going to hop over to the ranging one. Now there's only three classes on this because some of the individual classes were a little small. So I decided to group them into bows, crossbows, and throwables. So here we are at the range one. So we're going to go ahead and spin this one and see what we get for this. Looks like we're getting throwables. This is actually the one I wanted because it's actually kind of interesting what is in this list. So, but like I said, we're going to go grab the magic one here and we will see what we get for that as well. And for the magic one, we've got wands, bladed staves, powered staves, and then battle staves and mystic staves. So I kind of grouped them all together into four categories. What I want from this ideally would be the battle staves because it's kind of more interesting. The bladed staves would have us auto casting until 70 magic at the very latest. Not auto casting, manually casting until level 70 magic. So we kind of don't want bladed staves, but if we do roll it, we will have to put up with it, unfortunately. So let's just see what we get. Okay, so it looks like we're getting wands. This is actually a pretty easy one overall. It's mostly just mage training arena as well as doing chambers to get the Kodai. But overall, it's not too bad of one. But that is going to be nice because we can use it to cast some, to auto cast some spells, so it'll be a decent little time save as opposed to the bladed stabs. So like I mentioned when we were spinning the melee one, we're going to hop over and just chat about the weapon classes that we got. And okay, so here we are over on the wiki, and basically this is just the sword Wikipedia page. Now, because on our wheel I didn't actually put sword and longsword because I kind of just grouped them into both swords, we've actually got the longsword Wikipedia page as well. So these are the two Wikipedia pages that I'm going to be dealing with when it comes to using these weapons. So the first section is the standard swords. This is your bronze through dragon. It's the same on both of them, bronze through dragon. These are all the swords that we're going to have to obtain for the standard ones. What's more interesting is this section that is other. So for the swords itself, a lot of these seem easy to get. Like the anger sword is just by doing the quest for it. The training sword you get right off the bat. However, you'll look and see that we also need a Grazi rapier, and as well as the wilderness swords as well. So these ones are obviously going to be more difficult on a hardcore Iron Man, and the Grazi rapier is very late game. So as you can see, we've got a fair amount of swords here that we need to get. I am going to put these all in a list onto an Excel spreadsheet just so that we have them all and we can check them off as we get them. So we're going to hop over to the longsword now and check out the other longswords here. So a lot of these, again, are pretty easy to get. The Silverlight, Wooden Spoon, Blue Red Sword, the Dark Light and stuff like that are all pretty easy to get. You, however, get down to the bottom of this where it says the Vestas Longsword and the Third Age Longsword and whatnot. Now, because of how long it would take to get the Third Age items and the ultra rare, mega rare, the mega rare clue scroll items, I am going to not include those because we would be here for basically forever if we were going for them. So on all of the weapon classes, I am going to not put the Third Age and the Gilded as well, but otherwise everything else is going to be on the table. So all of these weapons, like I said, these ones here on the standard ones, I'm not too concerned about. They're pretty easy to get. But the other section is where it's a bit more difficult. Now, when it comes to the ranged option of the throwables, it gets a little bit more complicated because there's not actually a wiki that's dedicated to throwables. So what I am going to do, like it does say there's the thrown weapons here and stuff like that. What I am going to do though is I'm going to go through and actually specifically put them all into a Excel spreadsheet. But we're basically looking at the darts, the knives, the thrown axes, as well as chinchompas, and there was a bunch of other things. There's like the rings from the Tsar monsters. There's a bunch of things, and I might actually include the blowpipe as well because it is. Although it's not a throwable, I think it is classified as a throwable in the wiki. I will make sure of that though. But that's basically what we're looking at for these, for the most part. So we're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna go through all of these here and just make sure that there's no other hidden throwables hiding anywhere. But for the most part, I believe it is this section here. And then when it comes to wands, it's a very short list. Like I said, it is Mage Training Arena, and then it is the Kodai and the Dragon Hunter wand as well. The Third Age wand we are going to skip on because, like I said, we would be here for probably my entire life trying to get it. So this is going to be a very short list. It's just going to be the 6 items. However, it is going to take a long time because we have to get up to the point where we can do raids and get a little lucky. So yeah, so basically that is the list of weapons. And what I wanted to clarify is these are the only weapons I can use on this account. I cannot use, say, a staff, even if I have the prerequisites, I'm just locked to these weapons. You can classify it as a weapon lock where I'm locked to swords, wands, and throwables. And actually, I'm just looking down here. I am going to classify these as well because they are obtainable. You just do not equip them, but these are both from what lies below. And so I'm going to have to complete that quest in order to complete this section as well, because there is some unequipable wands, and I'm going to just make sure that there isn't any for the other ones. If there is, I'm going to add those to the list as well. And okay, here we are on our brand new account in front of Lumbridge Castle. So this is our ultimate hardcore Iron Man Truvis here. I'm just going to run up to the bank really quick and show you that we can in fact use the bank, and I'm going to empty it because I have a reason, I have a purpose for the bank that I'm going to explain to you in just a second here. So obviously we can use the bank because we're not actually an ultimate Iron Man. So I'm going to take all my stuff and I'm going to drop it right here. Everything. Okay, so that's everything dropped right there. So what we're actually going to use this bank for, I think it would be neat to essentially use it as a showcase, like achievement. Every time we get an item, we can throw it in here. But my one rule is, I'm sorry, every time we get a weapon that we're aiming for. So if I get a bronze sword, I can throw it in here. However, my stipulation is once it goes in, it can't come out. I just want to use this as just basically a like I said, a kind of a storage and achievement and like a tracking system to see what we've gotten, and so that we don't get confused later down the road of if I got an item or not. Basically, it's going to go into this bank, and if it enters the bank, it can never be retrieved again. And okay, we're going to start off this account by doing what almost everybody does on a fresh account, and pickpocket some men here. I just want to get a little bit of starting cash to get us started up so that we can buy our first sword. So I'm going to just sit here and pickpocket and maybe talk about the plans for the account. So as I mentioned, we're allowed to have only the 3 classes of weapons that we randomly selected from the wheel. So that would be the swords, the throwables, and the wands. Haven't exactly theory crafted the best path forward, so if you guys have any ideas, please let me know in the comments below. I do have a little bit of an idea of what I want to get going. Basically, I want to get my thieving up to a point where I can get a little bit of money and kind of start getting some gear upgrades so that we can start building our combat up, because a lot of the weapons that we need do need a higher requirement for our skills. We also do need to get our other skills up as well. So what I'm going to basically do off the bat, I'm going to basically get a bronze sword so that I can actually start training my melee stats. And then I'm going to hop over to chickens just to get some feathers so that we can make some darts eventually down the road. I think that's probably the best course of action right now. So like I said, I'm just going to get a little bit of money started up, and so I can grab myself a fresh sword. And okay, I just did a little bit of research. I need 115 GP in order to buy both a bronze sword and an iron sword. So if you didn't know, you can equip iron weapons at level 1 as well. So I'm going to upgrade right to level 1, right up to iron, just so that we can get a little bit of extra damage outputting. Okay, we're at 1 hit point, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the jug and the pot here, and I'm just going to go make some bread really quickly. Since this doesn't actually use any equipables, I'm just going to grab a couple here, and then I'm going to walk over there to make a little bit of bread so that we can be able to heal a little bit. And as we're walking by, we're going to complete our very first weapon. We're going to go ahead and grab the training sword, which is the first weapon that we can get. And basically, if you didn't know, the training sword is equivalent to a bronze sword, so when we get the iron sword, it will still be an upgrade, but now at least I can train without having to worry about ruining the account already. So here we are. We got the sword, the training sword here, and we're just gonna, like I said, I'm just going to go and make some bread and continue thieving, because I do want to get the iron sword and the bronze sword knocked off right now too. Okay, I figured I would just really quickly run through Cook's Assistant, just to get a little bit of starting cooking XP going and to unlock the range in the Lumbridge Castle. And okay, we got all the goods for Cook's Assistant. We're just going to head back, get this finished, and then I'm going to continue the pickpocketing and grab ourselves enough money to go buy the bronze and the iron sword. Okay, here we are finishing Cook's Assistant. Just going to get a little bit of a boost to our cooking skills. So we got up to level 4 cooking. So I'm going to go head up to, or actually I'm going to go cook this bread really quick. Hopefully we get a few of them without burning them. Yeah, that checks out. That's my luck right there. Well, I'm back up to 10 HP anyway, so let's go ahead and grab the 115, I think it was, GP we need in order to get ourselves the bronze and the iron sword. And okay, we're at 133 GP, so we're going to run up to Varrock and enter the sword store to pick up the bronze and the iron sword. And that'll knock off 2 more swords from our list. I kind of wanted to showcase this because a lot of people don't know this, but this way to get to Varrock from Lumbridge is actually quicker than going around the fence over there, and you don't risk running into the dark wizards in the stone circle. So this way is actually a little better to go, especially for Hardcore Iron Man, because that wizard there is one of the top killers for Hardcore Iron Man. Well, like overall, I think it's like a top 4 killer for Hardcore Iron Man, so avoiding it at all costs is always going to be a good call. And okay, here we are at the sword shop. So like I said, the bronze sword is 26, the iron sword is 91 for a total of 125 GP. So let's buy one of each here, the bronze sword and the iron sword. So we're going to go ahead and equip the iron sword, and we're going to go take a really quick trip to our little trophy case, which is the bank. And we're going to go check these 2 swords in because I'm never going to use them ever again. I think it'll be neat to kind of display the weapons that we get kind of in order that we get them. I'm going to keep separate tabs for them for each class, but just kind of in order of how we get them so that we can sort of see the progression that we've made along the way. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to go hop down to the chickens in Lumbridge and just kill a bunch of them, get my stats up a little bit, and get some feathers. I don't care about anything else except for the feathers, so I'm going to bury the bones just to get some extra prayer XP, but the feathers is all I really care about right now at this moment, because we're just going to need them for darts and whatnot in the future, so I might as well train on something that can't hit back, and as well get some feathers for later. And okay, so I just wanted to explain something a little further as well. So basically, when it comes to training our skills, obviously we can do the melee now that we've got the iron sword. But when it comes to magic, I don't know if there is a there's got to be a weapon requirement for the wands, right? Beginner wand is level 45. So because I don't have to use an actual weapon with that, it's using the runes, I'm going to count it as, you know, if I manually cast every cast to 45 and then I can start using the wands that I get, I'm going to count that because there's no really other way to train magic. And when it comes to ranged as well, like at least we can use bronze items right off the bat, and same with the iron items. But for the magic, we can't use anything, any weapon really, except for normal staffs at this level. So, and because we're locked to wands, I don't want to be just completely locked out of magic. So I am going to be allowing myself to manually cast every spell up until we get that first wand. So as I mentioned, I'm just going to sit here and kill some chickens for a little bit, get my stats up. I'm going to train attack to level 5 just so that we can get the steel sword when we can afford it. I might as well drop this pot and the 2 jugs now. I don't need them anymore. But as I said, I'm just going to pick up the feather and the bones. I'm not going to worry about the raw chicken. I'm going to leave that on the ground, and I'm going to bury the bones. And I'm probably just going to collect maybe I'll get to level 5 attack and some strength and defense XP as well. And yeah, we'll see where we're at when I'm done. We just got our very first clue scroll on the account. I'm not sure if we can actually get any of the upgrades needed from clue scrolls. We might be able to get a sword or something like that from the beginners, but I'm not going to focus on it right now. I'm going to I might drop it just to see if we get another one, but I might just stay here for a little bit and see what happens. Okay, there's level 5 attack, so I'm going to go switch over to strength for now and make sure we can hit a little harder. And okay, we just hit strength level 10 here. I'm not going to bother training defense just quite yet. I want to go do this clue scroll and see what we can get from it. I don't think we're going to get anything from our list, but if we do, that'd be pretty hype. So we're just going to hop over to check out the cook in the Lumbridge Castle. And okay, our next step is taking us to Brooks and Burson at the Grand Exchange. We're going to go hop over to the Grand Exchange really quick and see if we can get this clue or not. And okay, here we are at the Grand Exchange. I'm just going to bow to get Yuri to show up. And we got another clue. Where is it taking us this time? We're going back to the Lumbridge. So I can actually just use a quick Lumbridge teleport to get back there really quickly. And we're going to talk to Hans to get this casket. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe for future content. It really goes a long way to ensuring that I know that you guys are enjoying it. So yeah, please let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. Let's run over to Hans here and grab the casket. Okay, let's see what we get for this casket here. Oh shit, we actually got a steel longsword. Okay, cool. That's an upgrade. I don't know if it's much better than the iron sword, but we did get a sword off of our list. And I am going to call this episode here. I just want to get this out so that I can see your guys' feedback and see how you might like it. We did end up getting 4 of our items from our list, all of them being melee items, of course. I'm going to do some research to see if the steel longsword is any better than the iron sword. Whichever one is better, I'm going to keep. The other one I'll throw in the bank or in our storage or whatever to just to showcase it that we've got the upgrade. So anyways, like I said, if you like the video and the concept, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be putting a lot of my effort into this to make sure that I get the best content for you guys. I'm going to be learning editing basically from the ground up and make sure that it's visually pleasing and enjoyable to watch. So if you guys have any comments or any tips and tricks or whatever, please let me know. I appreciate the time you took to watch this video, so I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.